Okay, in this video, I will debone a rabbit, cut it here and cut it here, above. So you're gonna cut it right about here. Okay, so this I'm gonna debone a little bit later. And I'm gonna save the kidney. And actually the fat here, I'm gonna use that as part of my stuffing. And then right about here. The spine and the ribs that run through here, I want to remove that, and then I'm gonna have like just like a piece of meat with the tip of the knife. I expose the first set of rib and then just right underneath. And voila. Little bones out of the way. Any bits of meat in the stock pot. Okay, and then again with the tip of the blade, you scrape the meat off the bone really carefully. Take your time. And from here, I'm just gonna work my way in. Careful not to cut yourself. If you make a Wellington, you actually cut it here and you stuff it like that, and then you do the spinach, the mushroom, and you roast it a little bit. You just sear it, and then you wrap it in dough, puff pastry usually. Okay, this is my rabbit meat, and what I do with that, I season it. I season it as if I was gonna cook it and eat it, so well seasoned. Anyway, so a bit of pepper. Fresh pepper is best. Leg meat, kidneys, chunk of fat, and salt, pepper, and a little bit of oil. And the next step is to sear it and then cool it down. And once it's cooled down, I'm gonna ground it up. This is not cooked all the way through. It's just a little bit, just seared, just to give it a nice little flavor. I'm gonna put that in the fridge so it's nice and cold, and I would just ground this up. Okay, so for the next step, what I do, this is just a damp cloth, and I put a piece of foil, and the damp cloth so it sticks a little bit on the surface. And then I take a little bit of oil, just a little bit, and I spread it around. Fresh ground pepper. I put a little bit of salt, put a little bit of herbs, just like that. And then put my piece of rabbit. And this is the loin here. So I'm just gonna extend it a little, detach it a little bit. And again, a little bit of salt, pepper on that. And I will line this with a little bit of spinach. And this is my ground meat stuffing. Just a little, maybe that much. And this here is a mushroom duxelle. Basically it's mushroom and shallots sauteed. And I'm just gonna put a little bit. And then I just roll this like this. Okay. And then I'll move that on the side here. And the reason I make this wet is so you can make this nice and tight. And okay, so now what I have here is my roll, and what I'm gonna do with this, I'm gonna sear it with the foil and everything. And I'm gonna let it cool down. And after that, I'm gonna unwrap it. When I say sear, I don't cook it all the way through. I just sear it, just like on the pan, and slowly turn it around as hot and quick as I can with what I have right now. And then set it aside, cool it down. Then I unwrap it, and then I'm gonna wrap it in phyllo. Okay, so I got some phyllo. You should cover your phyllo while you work with it. So you just use a towel like this, sheet of phyllo, and then you melt some butter, or you can use some olive oil as you wish, or a mix of both. You're supposed to use a brush. I have to get a brush, so I'm using a little spatula right now. And what I do, I just spread some of my oil. Again, clarified butter. And I put a bit of herbs in my oil. I go like this. All right, and I put some cracked pepper on it, just a little bit. Always fresh cracked pepper, never the ground stuff, which is terrible. And sea salt. Just a little bit. Just a bit. This is medium phyllo, so it's quite thick. So if you have the regular phyllo, you probably would use, I don't know, 3-4 sheets. I'm just gonna use probably just 2. So a little more of the oil with my make-believe brush. Yeah, spread it as evenly as possible on all the edges. Cracked pepper. Just again a little bit of salt. Not too much, just a bit. You want everything to have salt because otherwise it tastes bland. I take some of my duxelle. I spread it on top like this. Okay, and this is our roll of meat that we seared. And all I do, I unwrap it. Just make sure you got all the foil out, obviously. Alright, so it's seared, but it's still raw inside. But it keeps its shape. That's what's cool about doing it that way. Okay, and what I do now, I just like this. You have to brush it again with a little bit of oil on the outside, and that's to prevent it from cracking. Otherwise your phyllo is going to crack. It's going to dry and crack. So just a little bit. Again, use a brush. And what I do now, I'm going to make just slice it just on top a little bit. Just all the way to the meat, sort of. 3 little slit. And what this does, all the steam comes out, and it keeps the phyllo nice and crispy, and it prevents it from cracking. What would happen if it was all sealed? The water from the meat would accumulate in the bottom, and it would just crack, and then you would have all the mushroom coming out. So this way the moisture comes out. So that's it. So that's my little Wellington. Okay, so I'm putting this in the oven. I would say at 400, probably it's, I don't know, 35 minutes. I would check the temperature inside with a probe, and after that maybe another 10 minutes or so. It's rabbit. I think you want it well done but still juicy. Okay, so here it is, about 35 minutes in the oven. You want to let it rest for a little bit before you serve it, so you keep it somewhere warm, like not in the oven but close to the oven, you know, maybe on top of the oven, and you serve the appetizer, and after that you can slice it. If you slice it right away, you're gonna lose too much of the juice, so it has to settle a little bit. And to make sure it's cooked, the best thing to do is to take like a meat thermometer, but if you don't want one, you take a blade, a knife, and you put it in. Count about 10 seconds. So if you put it on your wrist and it feels like warmish, it's not cooked enough. It has to be hot, not burning hot, but hot, nice and hot. Fresh beets that I roast. Asparagus. And for the Wellington, it's best to use a bread knife. It's just for the crust. And a nice wood cutting board would be great. And this is what it looks like inside. And obviously a little bit of jus. And finish with a little bit of herbs. A little vinaigrette. Perfect. The juice of the rabbit, as it cooks, it's retained by the mushroom here, and plus the mushroom tastes amazing as well. So to me it's complete. I mean, you could use a little chutney or something if you want. A safe bet will be a Pinot Gris or a Chardonnay. Here I have a New Zealand Pinot Gris from Kim Crawford. That would be an excellent choice. Poplar Grove, Canadian, Okanagan Valley, that would be amazing. And if you prefer red, I would go for Pinot Noir. And this will pair actually very well with the mushroom, the herb of the dish, so that would be an excellent choice. And let's say you make a little chutney to go with your rabbit. German Riesling, it's got a lot of botanical note like fruit and herbs and so on. And for something really different, I have this Greek wine. Actually, it's from Arcadia. It's a white wine. It's got a lot of peach notes. It's actually a really interesting wine. Fteri. I would recommend that as well. So thanks for watching. Bye.